if these 10 high performers did all the exact same thing, it's like, oh, I should probably do the same thing, you know. But there's nothing like that at the moment. There's no one showing you the path to go. There's no one showing you the right way or the wrong way. And as much as people say, oh, there is no right way and wrong way, but there's definitely right things and wrong things to be doing.
I'm Brian.
I'm Liam.
We're real estate agents in Dubai.
Through conversations with successful people, we'll be dissecting how they made the unattainable attainable, what processes they used from day one, and how they got to where they are today.
We'll be dropping episodes live every Tuesday with an aim to create a community of like-minded individuals where people can come to learn, belong, and thrive in a city such as Dubai.
Welcome to the Playbook. Brian.
Liam, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man, good.
Not like I haven't seen you all day, every day.
Do some time apart, man.
Honest to God. There's going to be a lot of us spending time together.
Again, I don't really know how to start these things. I suppose this is going to be our almost introduction episode to the Playbook.
Yeah, so obviously last week's episode was introducing me kind of to all your current listeners. So yeah, I suppose this week is kind of introducing everyone else into what we're going to be doing and why we're going to be doing it.
Not a bad place to start would be kind of where we got this idea and where it was born out of. Like, so me and you obviously living together, we had an idea of creating something together.
Yeah.
It's something that we've always spoke about.
Yeah.
And kind of just feeling that out randomly on Tuesday night, a few weeks ago, we were sitting and just started chatting about the Playbook.
Yeah, and where that came from too, I think obviously we'll delve into this later on in the podcast, but obviously we both kind of felt that there was no sense of community here, and that you're here by yourself doing this grind by yourself, where there's plenty of people here, like-minded people. So, you know, having to do that grind by yourself and feeling kind of isolated doing it, we suppose we both felt that, and we don't think that has to be the way.
Yeah, it's a shame really, because like there's so much potential in Dubai. It makes it feel like I was listening to a podcast and they were saying that Dubai is full of lost boys, which I thought
lonely souls,
which I thought was perfect. Like, because it feels like the only way that you would kind of mingle and meet people is by going out. Yeah. I mean, from any of the places that you would have been from, anybody who's listening, your hometown, it would have been your university friends, your school friends. But if you're moving here at 22, 23, 24, 30, whatever age you may be, there's no real connections here, and it's hard to make connections.
And especially if you're focusing on work and you're focusing on yourself. Obviously, when you're focusing on yourself, you're trying not to kind of break the routine. You're trying not to kind of be going out and doing these things. And when there's no other way of meeting people but going out in a city like this, it's tough. As you said, it is a lot of lonely boys, you know?
Yeah, and I felt that myself. Like, I mean, living by yourself for 6 months, 7 months, you know, really isolating yourself from everybody else. Like, I obviously did have people here, like there's people who I was friendly with, but it only having the hindsight when you moved here did I realize how lonely I was.
Yeah.
And only from finding groups of like-minded people or mixing within circles was it actually bearable for me? Like,
did you find they were easy to find, or you had to go out of your way a lot to get in touch with those people?
They were hard to find, to be honest. Like, it genuinely got to a stage where I was sitting in bed one night and I was scrolling through that Meetup app. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
I was scrolling through this Meetup app because my mum actually put me onto it because she was just talking about some events.
Coming in clutch.
Home. Exactly. And I was just looking up these different meetups. I was just trying to find, I think they were real estate. I was just trying to find some real estate. And then something came up called Brotherhood DXP, and I was like, that sounds like a bit of me.
Yeah.
And only through that have I met people. Like, a lot of the guys are a good bit older, but even still, it's been absolutely massive for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, that's it. It's the case of having a handful of people, that's it, that you can actually switch off with, you know, that it's not a case of like, you know, you're in work, you have this work persona, you know, you don't let kind of these walls down. You're that person in work, and then you're a different person when you're out or whatever. But being able to have, even if it's one person, but a couple of people especially, that you can you can switch off it and speak about things that you actually want to speak about. Do you know that? I think that's when you can recharge your battery. Do you know?
Yeah, and it's only been working with Mark and Paddy. Like, did it feel like I'm with a group of guys my age, and we're both moving towards something greater. Like, we're both building stuff together. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I've gotten massive value of. And if I can provide that to as many people as possible, like if we can provide that to as many people as possible, like.
So yeah, saying that, so obviously the problem which we found here was that it's so hard to find those like-minded people, and it's so hard to meet people without just going out on the piss, or you know, like it's not even to find things such as a five-a-side, or it's like those small things that, you know, anyone will tell you when you move to an area. If you kind of play a five-a-side, or you go to a certain gym, you'll meet people. Like, you don't have that here. I think everyone's very focused on their own thing. So I suppose that was the initial problem that we found. Like, and we found it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, 100%. Like, somebody said that a lot of the relationships here are transactional, which I thought was so true. Yeah, so I definitely think there's something to be said for that. Like, and there is a problem there, combined with the fact that Dubai is painted in a certain way. So it feels like everybody is focused on what they're doing, as you said, trying to be successful, but there's no way forward. There's no way to point your compass.
No, and I don't think, no matter how good you are working by yourself, do you know what I mean? You could be a complete introvert. Well, I don't know. I'm not an introvert, so who am I to say? But I personally can't. Like, I don't mind putting my head down and working hard, but I need that time, some social interaction that will just help me recharge. That is a switch off without completely breaking routine and ruining yourself for the weekend, you know?
I think that's interesting, because for me, like, I don't mind being by myself, but it definitely gets to a stage where it's like, Jesus, I haven't socialized with anybody for a while now.
And it just makes the work more monotonous, because it doesn't feel like there is a break for myself anyway.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know, a caveman like you, but
no, it definitely does get to a stage, like, as in I was doing 6 or 7 months of the exact same thing. But it was only by having those communities. But if I didn't have them, I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah. So saying that, what is our aim? What are we, after rambling on about community and all the rest for the last 5-10 minutes, what's the plan?
So we're feeling a lot of this out as we go. Like, this is
are we? Yeah.
like, this is completely unscripted. Like, we've got no points to talk about. We're just going with the flow and see what happens. So that's definitely one aspect of it. The second aspect is we're going to be speaking to a lot of people throughout this and trying to learn from them, learn what it takes to be successful. It's important to kind of define the terms here. Like, for successful, it can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. For me personally, we spoke about this last week, but for me personally, it's just being the top of your game in any given industry. It doesn't have to be you having the flashy car, you having the nice house. It doesn't mean you have to have X or Y in the bank. It just has to be you're a high performer, you're a top performer, you're the best or one of the best in any given industry at what you do. And we're trying to speak to as much people in as many different kind of areas in any given context to try and understand how it is that they got to where they were.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think more, obviously we're going to focus a lot on what they did work-wise, but a lot of it too, I think, about what they did outside of work. You know, like, as we spoke about, like, I think in Dubai too, there's a lot of people that move to Dubai with their money. I think there's a small percentage of people here that have made their money here, but what's the difference? You know, what did they do back wherever they were, and what was their journey to where, to this success in whatever it might be. So yeah, within kind of what they did for work, what they did to get to where they are, and then kind of what they did outside of work that helped them get there too.
Yeah, 100%. And just when you were saying there about a lot of people move to Dubai with their wealth, and that's what's portrayed on social media. Like, we were chatting during the week, and it's, all right, who's going to be the people who make money in Dubai? Yeah. Who's going to be the next generation?
I think that is massive. What is the next generation? Because if you asked me, like, who do you know that has made the money in Dubai? And other than some hugely successful real estate agents. I couldn't tell you anyone,
Mm.
but you could name plenty of people that are in Dubai that are very successful. So I suppose we'll be trying to get some of those people on as well that have made the money in Dubai and find out what they did or what they did differently and how they found their journey too.
Yeah, and ultimately building a playbook of, if you follow these steps, you will be successful.
Yeah, and absolutely. I think, as you said in previous episodes of the podcast, like there is a sense of selfishness from us as well, because obviously we're also trying to figure out what they did, and I suppose this is just trying to document what we're finding. We're not preaching that we know how to get there. We're trying to find out how to get there too. And I suppose this is just us documenting our findings, isn't it?
But this is it, like, as in, we're trying to find this out for ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, we are going to be trying to speak to these people for ourselves. And if at the same time we can share that knowledge with as many people as possible, ultimately we will not only be helping other people, but we'll be leveling up the whole kind of industry.
Absolutely. I find as well with Dubai, it'd be rude not to take advantage of how many successful people are here. Like obviously if there's people listening at home or whatever, like who could you, if you were doing this in Sligo, who would you speak to?
God, I don't know, one of the lads who run the pub or the nightclub.
Yeah, literally, whoever's running the best pub in town.
Yeah.
Like at least here you have people that have made it and they are accessible. We can get to them. I'm going to try and pick their brains and kind of see what they did. So as I said, documenting our findings. Hopefully anyone listening will be learning as much as we are along the way.
Yeah. Kind of speaking more about the why, like for me personally, like not only do I want to learn that information, but for me, being successful, like being a high performer in life, just wasn't something that I thought was ever really possible. I thought that you either were or you weren't.
That's how it's portrayed though, isn't it?
Yeah. That you're either born into it, you got lucky, and there was no factors you could control. I remember being so anxious in university, thinking that I had to get out really quickly, start making money, start making more than my ex-girlfriend at the time, because it was some sort of like fulfill my ego in this race to like be successful, but I didn't know how to do it. Like, as in, I was just looking at the like financial situations that my parents were in, and being like, oh, well, that could be me. Like, or I didn't understand, and I still don't have 100% clarity, but I just thought that luck or success was something that you were or you weren't. And I think that applies to a lot of people. It's like this elusive thing, like success, like high performance. Is this something that this like abstract concept, and why I'm doing this is trying to kind of get in behind that facade, trying to understand it a bit more. You need
some natural ability to be there when you don't, and I suppose we're trying to debunk that it is that natural ability. It's not. Like, these people are normal people too. They're like me or you. So what did they do? They have to have done things that got them to where they are.
But this is it. Like, this is from me personally, from meeting people in Dubai, as we spoke about last week. It's like, it makes it a bit less elusive. Like, it makes it a bit more tangible, and you're speaking to those people and you're like, oh, this is just a normal person. They did extremely well because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm speaking to them on viewings, or I'm speaking to them when we're closing a deal. I'm just like the stuff that I'm learning here should be shared with everybody.
Yeah.
Because like there's a client that I speak about the whole time that I've learned so much from. And I'm just like, if I could just box some of the things that he's saying and share with the world.
And him speaking to you, he's not lecturing you. That's just in your general chit chat. It's just from being around those people, you pick up on these things. That's how they speak.
Yeah.
And they're happy to share this information. So if we can get them to share some of it with us and with whoever's listening, then that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, like it's multifaceted in that regard, that we're kind of going to try and combine the two things, like selfishly trying to find out information of how to become successful, but also getting a good group of a community together that we can all do it. So we're going to be getting friends and we're going to be successful.
Yeah.
So it definitely. That's
the hope anyway. Come back to us and give us Give us 2 years and we'll find out.
Give us 10 years. Give us 10 years, and then
Yeah.
we'll speak.
Yeah, fair enough.
But like, and the idea with the community is like that we're trying to speak to a lot of people who have a long-term vision like us. Like, there's so many people that you meet with such short-sightedness that we do, especially real estate agents, complete short-sightedness, that all they're trying to do is make as much money in the shortest amount of time and then dip.
And get out, yeah.
And that's not where true wealth or success is built, and it's not what would align with a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think you agree with me on the point that from everyone you have spoken to that has been successful so far, they put such an emphasis on relationships and networking and connections that you have. So like, I suppose in a sense, when we're building kind of this community of like-minded people, like, yeah, it's a community, but it's a network at the same time, you know? So anyone in the community will have the same connections as we have, you know? So you're building that community, you're building your network, you're building your connections of like-minded people.
Yeah.
And if you've got a pool of 100 like-minded people all working hard, doing the same things, there has to be a percentage of those that become successful.
100%.
You know, and they bring you up there with them, or you bring them up there with you. So
yeah, and it's trying to filter through the bullshit. Like I've had people reach out to me from the podcast, you know, and we're meeting up for a coffee. I'm just like this would be a perfect opportunity for that. Like all these people who are interested in getting a head start over everybody else in the real estate side of it, trying to learn as much as they can before they come over, filter through the bullshit that they've been seeing on social media. They're my kind of people. Like, if I could meet up with them on a regular basis, happy days, like introduce them to each other.
I think the thing is with a podcast too, like, you're not ramming it down someone's throat. You know, if someone wants to listen to this, they'll listen to it because they're interested in it, or because they want to see us fail. It's one or the other. But if someone wants to listen to this, they'll listen to it, you know. And if they continue to listen to it, they will become part of the community. And like, they're obviously like-minded if they've gotten to that stage.
Yeah.
You know, so you do have those common interests, and you will have no problem speaking with those people, or even going for a drink with those people. Like, that's what I find too. Like, going out for a drink here can be tedious because you're going out and you're listening to the same shite every night. Oh, what are you doing here? How long are you here? Real estate, is it? What area are you working in? Like, fuck me.
Exactly.
You know, like, but if you're going out, even if I go out for a pint with you, like, you can sit down and just have a chat, enjoy your drink. Do you know what I mean? It's so, like, it doesn't take that much energy, you know, whether you're going out and you have to speak all that bollocks. Like, it's tough work sometimes.
Yeah. And because Dubai is painted a certain way on social media and a certain way in the media in general, it's hard to find people like that. Like, as in, you do, as a result, just become isolated. It
draws a certain group of people to it, I think, Dubai. For obviously, there's the one side, myself and yourself, we're here to work, like, we're here to kind of to better ourselves. You've got that, the other half of people that are here to show to the world they're doing well. Look at me, I'm in Dubai, I'm spending this and spending that. Like, and those are the people you end up bumping into and speaking to. And I know me personally, I couldn't speak to anyone worse, to be honest.
Did you think you would like Dubai? Did you think you would fit in, or like, how did you think that would go down? Like,
I don't know, I didn't even think that far. The opportunity presented itself. Yeah, grand.
Fair enough.
I think it's the same as anywhere though. Somewhere is what you make of it. Like, even this, like, we found there wasn't a community, so we're going to make a community. You know, like, if you make somewhere what you want it to be, then it is whatever, you know.
This is what I only understood kind of after a few months of being here. Like, before I came over, I was like, I don't know if Dubai is really me. It's never somewhere that jumped out at me. But all I was basing my assumptions off was social media, from like Instagram, TikTok. And then leading up to coming over, I was listening to podcasts of real estate, and I was just like,
that's what the algorithm is pumping though.
Exactly.
Come to Dubai, look how, like, flashy this is.
It's not even the algorithm. It just seems like the majority of the content out there, the narrative that is being pushed by the majority.
But that's because those people are the majority. And the majority of people that come here are content pushers anyway.
Yeah.
So that's always what's going to get pushed out.
They're the average.
Us being content pushers. You know? Who would have thought?
I wish I did time. That's funny that you're saying that, because like speaking to that client a few weeks ago, he was just like, the idea is not to be average. Like if the average are doing this, we're not doing that. Like my leasing manager said when I first started, he was like, you don't want to be an average real estate agent because the average real estate agent makes no money.
Yeah.
It's shown, it's portrayed a certain way that they're all making money, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
The average is making no money. And I know you do not want to be average.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and I know there's more people out there that don't.
But it's mad, like with the people you have here that are quite content being average and portraying that they're not.
Exactly.
You know, like, and I know yourself and myself, we could be the opposite. Like you could be at the top of your game, making a load of money, and you're like, this fella's still living in that shithole. You know, it will be the opposite. I think that's just the two different type of people that are over here, you know. So yeah, we're trying to meet the people that are more like us, I suppose, and those are the people that will be listening. So
yeah, what will be really interesting for me is speaking to successful high performers, understanding what were they doing from where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because all you can see is what they're doing now, like the headlines, the money that they're making, the businesses that they've built. But what were you doing from day one?
Yeah, like who was it that said about if those high performers had to document what they were doing in the past, it'd be so much easier for everyone now.
Alex Hormozy?
You were talking about someone, if Richard Branson or...
Oh, it was Alex Hormozy. He was just like, the reason that I'm documenting my journey is because Musk, Buffett, and whoever aren't documenting it, and if they were, you know, it would have been so beneficial. So I'm doing it for the rest of us.
Maybe they're too busy, bro. Maybe that is the trick. Don't be wasting your time with this.
No, but the idea of it is for sharing it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what use is it becoming hyper successful and not sharing how you got there with the rest of the world?
Yeah.
Like, I want to teach the people.
Greedy bastards, huh?
But I want to teach the people who were in my position when I was 18, when I was 17, when I was 19, 20, whatever, that thinking that being successful was something you are, you aren't. There was no way to get through that. There was no way to attain it. It was some amorphous thing that you couldn't even get a hold of.
But because we'd like someone to teach us now, you know, like I would love if what we're doing here was already a thing, you know, because you have it is documented and you can see what the steps are. It's like, okay, well, if these 10 high performers did all the exact same thing, it's like, oh, I should probably do the same thing, you know. But there's nothing like that at the moment. There's no one showing you the path to go. There's no one showing you the right way or the wrong way. And as much as people say, oh, there is no right way and wrong way, but there's definitely right things and wrong things to be doing.
Yeah, as you're saying that, like, don't want to be getting too deep here now, but like for me personally, that should have been a role of my father to show me like what you should be doing, like what the right and wrong way, like the right, telling me the right and wrong things to do and giving me advice of how to make it or how to work harder.
I don't know though, bro. I think that's in life lessons wise, in career wise. Like it's not like my father showed me. It's like, oh, this is what you do to become a millionaire. Like,
true.
You know, like
I suppose
you're not a bad old skin all the same.
Yeah, true. I suppose because he would be talking about his experience, which would be one experience. Like only when you get a large sample size of 100 or 1,000 high performers or individuals, and they each tell you your story, will you be able to take some sort of a conclusion of this is the right way to do it. Yeah. Because there's a certain amount of not believing what your parents are saying and just going against the grain after a while.
Absolutely.
And for me, it was, just if I just don't do that, then I should be okay.
Yeah, but don't do what? What is it you don't do? You know, and if you're not doing that, what should you be doing? So, I suppose we've hit on what we're going to do. Well, in some aspects, we want to build a community. How are we going to do it? What are our plans?
It's a good question.
That is a good question. No, but
don't pin that question on me.
Oh, you're going to throw it back at me?
Yeah, it's
right.
been absolutely just backhand back.
No, but I suppose so anyone who is listening, as I said, will be like-minded. So we're going to be trying to have meetups and things, whether it's as simple as a coffee or going for a pint or ice baths or a hike or something with these like-minded people. So that's obviously something we're kind of moving towards down the road. So I suppose that is a second what, I suppose, apart from the podcast and dissecting what these people have to say and having a conversation with them, then we want to be able to share that on a one-to-one basis with people rather than just across Spotify or Apple Music.
Yeah, 100%. And if it's just me and you sitting in a cafe drinking coffee together, I'm happy with that, lad.
We could be hiking by
I'm
ourselves,
happy
handy
with
enough.
that. If anybody wants to join me and Liam on a Sunday morning drinking coffee,
Yeah.
or going for a walk or a run, maybe.
Nah, I'll stick to the walk. Brian
so
thinks
weird.
he's grateful now because he's training for a marathon. Go and tell us how many kilometers you did today, Brian.
No,
Yeah.
don't put me on the spot like this, Liam. No, like even the time a few weeks ago when we did the run, like we were just chatting away on the run.
Yeah.
It's nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it is nice. It's nice to be able to just go, and I suppose when you're talking about something that interests you, the time just flies by. And I suppose that's one thing I hate about running. I just find it so long. Anything over 5K is too long. But when you're actually talking about things that interest you, you do find the kilometers ticking away.
Yeah.
So I suppose, we're just trying to do things with people that interest us and have interesting conversations. Thought provoking.
Yeah, exactly. Those are where the real ideas are born. Like I was listening to podcasts on my run this morning. Did 20k flex.
There you go. I knew it was coming somewhere.
I was listening to
I think that's
podcasts.
the 6th time I heard that today.
I listened to podcasts and I was like, there's only so much I can actually retain here. The times where I've learned the most is by speaking with people in the groups that I've met, speaking even about the podcast, about ideas. Those are where I've had the light bulb moments, because there's only a certain amount that I can learn from somebody saying stuff into my ears. So I think that's going to be absolutely massive in that regard.
It's only when you tell yourself you learn it. When you're speaking it back to yourself.
Exactly. Or teaching it to somebody else. That's really when you do learn something.
Yeah.
And
that's because you think you know best, bro. That's why.
No, I don't. This podcast is going to be Liam outing me for all my behavior.
Brian, under the bus again. There'll be at least one time for podcast.
That game.
I try and get this man under a bus.
Two can play that game.
No, I better keep quiet.
But yeah, like I think that's really the bones of it, to be honest, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we spoke about why we're doing this. We spoke about what we're going to do. So yeah, that's pretty much, that was our aim for this episode. As Brian said, there's nothing scripted. So if we're stuttering and stammering over here, it's genuinely because we're thinking of what to say next or what to move on to or what points to hit. Everything you see is first take.
Exactly, but that's one of our core values is just being just authentically ourselves.
Yeah. I think everything about this, we just want to be having a chat. We want to be having a chat with the people we get on. We want to be having a chat with each other, and with the community that we build, we just want to be able to have a chat with them too. So
yeah, because there's plenty of scripts nearby. Feels like everyone's reading off
10 phone calls a day.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's just having that conversation, whatever shite we talk in the meantime, it's just the shite we talk in general, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose the biggest, most valuable lessons are yet to come, and we're excited for what's to come. So we'll be setting up a new page on Instagram, a new page on YouTube. So I keep forgetting to mention that if you are listening, this will be on YouTube, all going to plan. So make sure to watch that there to get a glimpse into behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian and I both got fresh haircuts for today,
we just have a
subtotal of 4 people that'll watch on YouTube.
We've a constant fade. I don't know what you're talking
about.
Oh
yeah, that's it. There's a barber in-house.
Not yet. But yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, no, that's as you said, that's the bones of it. Let you do the honours. Can I do the honours?
You can do what you like, lad. I just want to say thanks for the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's been a pleasure as always, and I suppose thanks to anyone who did tune in and listen. I'm gonna have to learn from the previous 23 episodes what you say at the end of these.
But it's more of a free flow now. It's just we'll see you in the next one, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. See you in the next one next week. Tuesdays, dropping on Tuesdays. Yeah,
every Tuesday, 5 a.m.
every 5 a.m. Some chance you'll be uploading that one, not
Yeah,
me.
well, catch me.
All right. Thanks again for watching and good luck.
See you later. Like.